DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
Tuned in to DJNTV Live with your host, Brian Esred.
Hey, it went the first time. The buttons worked. Yay, we're here.
Yay.
We're so excited. We're here for show number 2 tonight. Thank you for joining us. If you were watching us out on Facebook or YouTube, we follow the chat mainly on YouTube, and sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we are just so preoccupied by important things. Like, what the hell is over your shoulder?
Oh, yeah, that's...
It's like a blender with... are you making some, like radioactive cocktail
It's a
back there?
glowing blender, yeah. I'm making some radioactive banana shakes.
Smoothies.
Or banana smoothies. That's one of the magnet tubes. I had that set up from the videos I was doing the other day on the Hex LED.
Ah, okay. So now that makes sense, though. That's like... I tried to envision what was so about the tubes.
I kind of thought the magnetube was a really good way to show the color instead of just on the wall or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't even make mention of it being a magnetube or anything else. I just used it to illustrate color.
Yeah, that would be a nice way to help show that color. And even with some of I could see with some of the older LED lights where you didn't have the good color mixing right away. On that would definitely show it because you would see the beams and such are, like a little red.
Yeah.
So you would be able to show if you're getting good color mixing right down to the bottom.
It's a little off because it's white and that kind of throws things off because it's coming through a white tube. But for the most part, I think it did pretty well. I was just trying to show people what they could do with Hex LED. Mm-hmm. I did one where I was doing like just the regular color mixing. And then I did another one where I was talking about warm whites and cool whites.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's just up there. Hex is the way to go if you're just getting into it, and it's getting more and more reasonable by the day to step into Hex.
Oh, for sure. I mean, one of my favorite lights that I use is the 5P, which is a Hex light from American DJ. And I run them most of the time just as a casual flood. Well, I've got one of my dances that I do, and actually for Halloween, Saturday night, I'm going to be doing a UV party for that at the bar. But for one of the schools we do a black light event. And it used to be that I would take and I would have a dozen black lights around, and they were all, at the time, fluorescent fixtures or the sodium, whatever, basically like the street light big bulbs, whatever they were. Those are what I used. And then over time, I've been replacing with LED. And now this past time, it's like, okay, I have all these 5Ps. So I kind of spread them out a little bit so they would have the coverage when they went to UV. But most of the time, I could do the chasing of the colors and doing the things and not hit the UV. And the dance floor is lit up very well. Then all of a sudden you hit that UV and you've got that bright glow going on of all the kids in their clothes and such. And they just thought that was the greatest thing. It's like, I'm putting one light up and I'm getting 2 effects.
Right.
Which is so much better than...
It's all application.
Yeah, it really is. So. It really is. And they have come a long way. I mean, so some of the very first Hex lights that we looked at when they first came out, the UV in there was really not that effective. It was more of that, it's like, okay, there's the blue.
Kind of dim.
Yeah, well, it was blue, and then there was the UV, and it was a little bit dim, and it looked like just another variation of the blue. It didn't have the effect. And I know that some of you, they've used the wavelength, and they've explained why some UV work better than others.
Someone smarter than us.
Yeah, exactly. All I know is that with this one, you couldn't. It doesn't shine through, so you can see the person's underwear. With this one, it shines through, so you can see their underwear. I mean, that's. And yes,
just real quick. I know people think I would keep wiping my nose because maybe I was putting something in my nose, but absolutely not. I've got Gizzy here. She is joining us for the show.
Yay!
My buddy Giz. So I'm petting her, and yeah, she's shedding a little bit. I don't know why.
Kitties have.
She doesn't normally. She doesn't normally shed. So
little cat hair drifting up.
Yeah. I think she's stressed out. The other cat was picking on her or something, so she's shedding, but normally she doesn't. But yeah, she's here hanging out with me. So. So
good.
it's like my therapy animal, keep me calm.
There you go.
I don't go off the rails while I'm on the air with John here.
Yeah, because that happens a lot.
Yeah, well, it kind of does sometimes.
Let's see. So we got a few things we want to hit tonight. First off, I wanted to talk about something that I saw you were working on today, and let's kind of jump into that a little bit. You were putting a Facebook group together.
Trying. I mean, I'm not very good at that kind of stuff. That's something I should have left to a guy like you, because I got it all screwed up. And now Nick Hahn from Promo Only and Howie Darkstar, and they're trying to fix all of my mistakes to make it work. Yeah, I mean, do we really need another DJ Facebook group? God, no, we don't. But I saw a problem that I wanted a solution to way back. Actually, before you and I were really talking, I knew you. I knew of you, and we communicated. But way back in the old days of YouTube, we had this thing. It was like a community where I did videos and 30 other DJs did videos or more, and then you had your couple hundred people that commented, but there was that core group of DJs that did videos. It wasn't just me or just, the DJ tutor or whatever. And what we would do is send video responses back to each other. So one DJ would do a video and say, hey, look, I don't know how to do this thing. How do you do this thing? And then I would jump on and say, hey, I got an idea. And I would show a video of how I would do it. And then somebody else would jump on and do the same thing and say, hey, here's an idea. Or alternately, I just did a how-to video on something. Somebody would chime in and say, hey, thanks for the video. It was very helpful.
Yep.
It was cool to put like some real context to the response, because I mean, we got a chat room going on right now. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with the chat, but there's some stuff that's lost in translation. There's general intent and mood and attitude, tempo, whatever, that you don't see in just a text comment.
Yes.
And I know people are trying to get away from talking and, it's all about texting now. I say no. I think the world would be better if we would just talk to each other and we would communicate that way in video responses. The other thing is, I don't know who's out there making videos anymore. Mm-hmm. I know Blanca's walking all over the living room making noise. So, but I don't know who's making videos anymore. They're not on my radar. I mean, there's no way to really effectively have community anymore on a platform like Facebook, unfortunately. There's still views that happen, but there's not that community. So I threw a video up last night kind of talking about it, and I threw out the idea of maybe doing a Facebook group. And I made a post about that today, and the response was overwhelming. Yes, we want this. We want to be able to collectively see DJs producing educational material, posting in one place. Mm-hmm. We want to be able to reply to these things with video comments. We want to be able to ask video questions that are going to be seen by people who produce content. So the group was created 2 hours ago or whatever it was.
Right.
Actually, a page was created, which was a mistake, and then I went and created a group, and now there's a page in a group, and the page is slated for demolition in 14 days, but the group is there. It's a closed group right now. I'm calling it, and I couldn't decide on the name. Finally, I just gave up and just picked the name, calling it the DJ. What am I calling it? The DJ Video Cave. That's what I'm calling it.
Okay. Well,
so
cool.
Yeah. So it's a place where eventually we're going to open it up to everybody, where you can go and you can watch everyone's video, including Disc Jockey News videos. I hope that you contribute and copy paste the links into the group so people can see you. And you're going to be able to do video responses to folks who are doing videos. You're going to be able to help people. You're going to be able to get help. And hopefully we'll have this community again where you're going to really put a face and a voice and facial expressions, I guess, to the end user. They're not just the end user anymore, or a profile picture and a comment. It's a guy or a girl, sitting in their cave doing their thing. So, yeah, it's a utopian idea. I don't know what's going to happen with it. I don't know how it's going to fly, but we're giving it a go. And it's a group effort. It's not about me. That this is. I was telling somebody today, I don't want to be John Lennon. I want to be a Beatle. I want to be a part of a group. I don't just want to be the guy out there all by myself doing this thing, because I've been that for a long time and I don't like it. I want to be part of a band again. So my rally cry today was, we're putting the band back together.
Yeah, nope, that's what I saw is the
bringing on some new members, and I'm hopeful. I'm really hopeful that it takes off and people contribute to the group and enjoy the group and get something out of the group.
Yeah,
see what happens.
And I like the idea that it could be a great spot to help mentor people who are wanting to get in and create videos, because over the years, Jonathan, yourself, myself, we've learned a lot about what to do and what, more importantly, not to do. And it's like, if we can save people money as they want to, hey, I want to do some videos things, and not specifically in the DJ industry. It might be something that you want to do a video. You do some video work in your local community. Maybe you want to become a local, online newscaster, or maybe you're going to do something where you're doing some little video work for your DJ business, and you're becoming kind of a newsy thing to create content for brides in your area. I mean, there's just so many possibilities of what video how it can work in your business. But to go and throw the amount of money away, and this desk isn't as bad as that one, because basically I had gear that I would buy thinking that this was an answer to whatever the problem was I was having with my system. And you'd be like, nope, that didn't work, and it gets sat right there. Nope, that didn't work. And then all of a sudden, a stack of don't want to, didn't work gear. That if we can use something like this to help save people some time and money in that arena, it's like that alone would be hugely valuable.
One interesting thing that you said, and I absolutely agree, is it gives you something to gauge your work on, and you were talking about just the video part of it. And that's definitely part of it. For me, it was a very monkey see, monkey do kind of thing. I would look at and see how other people did videos, and I would try to almost emulate that. Like, okay, well, it's 3 minutes. That seems pretty good, because when I go over that time, I lose viewers. So my stuff needs to be short. And then I'd see people try to do big showy things, and they didn't do well. Then I'd see people do calm things, and that seemed to do better, more sincere, whatever. That's become my formula. But we were all really watching each other and not competing with each other. It wasn't that, but we definitely set the bar for each other. So, if there's a guy, over in England who's doing videos that are well surpassing mine, and not in views and all that, I don't really care about that. But as far as just content, it was just very helpful and very well done. I need to up my game. Yeah, because this guy is just like any other thing. But if you're all by yourself, that's all you do is just produce, and then read comments and look at likes and dislikes and gauge your success off of views and comments and likes and subscriptions and all that. It's lonely. It's so lonely. I really prefer to have a community, and I miss that so much. And I'm so happy to, at least be making an effort to help cultivate a community again, bring the old guys back, and they're more than willing to come back. They can't wait. They're so happy that we're doing something. And then there are new guys out there and new gals out there who just, they don't even know what I'm talking about. They're like, what are you talking about? Video responses community. What is this? Like, stay tuned.
That's been gone for quite a long time.
So yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I've been working on.
Unfortunately, the video response was such a great tool for a period of time, and then it went poof. Goodbye.
It went spammy, though. That was the big problem with it.
Yeah.
Because you would get, well, it wasn't just the spam. It wasn't just the completely irrelevant stuff just going on your videos because they figure, well, okay, he's got 100,000 views on this video. If I post my video on basket weaving on his DJ video, I'll pick up a few views. You get this whole competition thing. Well, I don't know. Who cares? The stuff that bugged me initially with the video responses when it started kind of going downhill was when I do a video on LED lighting, for instance. And then I get 5 videos that were like, check out my mix.
Yeah.
What does that have to do with what I was doing? It's just showboating. It's just trying to get viewers and subscriptions. It's this game that people are playing. I don't like that game.
Yeah.
I mean, I got some comments this week on a video I did on Hex LED. A couple people chimed in and said, B, why don't you monetize this stuff? You're leaving money on the table. You need to monetize it. I think I don't do it just to show everybody how unhot for money I am.
Mm-hmm.
I don't ask for money from the viewers. I'm certainly not going to ask it from the ads. I'm not doing this for the money. I'm making a statement with not monetizing things. I'm doing it because I want to do it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that same spirit translates with what we're trying to do here. It could be as simple as, you know, a little phone video response, or even a phone video question. You get on your phone and say, hey, I got this mixing board. I have no idea how it works. Can anybody help me? Here's what it looks like. Please help. I'm in trouble. Help me. And then you can get video responses from that.
Right.
I think that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. But it doesn't matter what I like. It matters what everybody else likes. So hopefully it catches on, you know?
Yeah, that's unfortunately. It's like, oh, when in my mind, this is the greatest idea ever, and it's going to be huge, and everyone's going to love it. And then all of a sudden, it's like, okay, the crickets. Why am I hearing crickets all the time?
Exactly.
Yeah.
On the other hand, you can sit around and wait for somebody else to pioneer something. You can sit around and wait for someone else to come up with the idea to do something. But then when they never do it, you eventually say, all right, you know what? I'm just going to step up and try something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all we're doing here. But we got people who believe in it. We got people who want to do it. So there's kinks to be worked out on the technical end, which I'm lost on. I'm just not good at this stuff. I'm sorry. I just stirred the cat. You want to sit on the turntables? Yeah, you go up here on the desk and play around for a while. There you go. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. It should be an interesting and fun time, because
I tell you the bizarre part about it all is that, you know, I created this video, or I created this group for, you know, video replies, video comments, video content. And everyone who's joined the group so far has pretty much just like typed text, hey, thanks for letting me join the group. I'm like, why aren't you making a video? That's the whole point of this. So it's going to be a learning curve. And that's why it's a closed group right now. Because if we open the group up, and I mean, quite easily with me and you and everybody else who's involved, we can quite easily get several thousand members in this group pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
If you do that and there's no flow established, or there's no format really established for people to kind of watch and figure out how it works, it's going to be an absolute mess. So trying to keep it closed for now, maybe 100, 200 people to go in there and kind of establish things as to how they're supposed to work, and get the foundation down before we open it at the floodgates, you know. Sure.
Yeah, that should be kind of neat. And I believe Howie and Robin put the links into the chat there, so people can go and check that out.
Yeah, Nick Hahn, he's been great. He jumped on this right away today. I was kind of surprised, but he was really into the idea, and he was like, okay, we need to put qualifying questions down, you know, for anybody who wants to join the group. They have to ask these questions. Mm-hmm. And you know Nick. You know, I told Nick he should have been a cop. He would have been a great cop. He's just, you know, he's a no-nonsense kind of guy. You know, straight shooter, follow the rules and you're okay. You veer this way or that way, hey, you're mine, you know. And Nick's like, oh, well, you know, you promised to follow the rules of the group and all this stuff. And he's like, I need the third question. I said, it should be like, do you think is Cardi B awesome, true or false? You know, or Cardi B is awesome, true or false? He liked that. I don't know if that actually ended up being one of the questions, but I wanted the third question to be just silly. You know, just kind of lighten the mood a little bit. You know, we're here to have fun. So that's been fun.
Funny.
Yeah. What did I call it? The DJ Video Cave is the name of the group.
Yeah.
And Robin and Howie, for now, can kind of help you out, get you in there, and get you in as a member if you're interested in being part of the pioneers in this group to kind of establish, you know, what we're going to be doing for a foundation. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to come into the group, fine, be ready to do some video comments or responses to the videos you see in there, or post some video questions. You know, please don't join this group and just want to like type. We're done typing. Let's do something different. Let's have some fun.
Let's go in and create and share at a different level. I think it's probably the biggest part of it.
Well, just, you know, make it different. It's been stale. I hate to admit it, but it has been. I can only do so much. Mm-hmm. I can only make so many videos. I can only, you know, without some real input and some more intimate connections, I guess, with the audience. And I think the video responses was a fantastic way to do that.
Well, and I think one of the things that and people are like, how does it get stale? And I think the idea is that it seems like a person's talked about so many topics, and it's like, oh, I've been there and hit that one. And Ben and I've had the conversation numerous times. It's like, okay, we've talked about that in that show. We've talked about that. We've talked about that. We've talked about that. And you feel like you're kind of you're banging your head against the wall to a point.
You have that. And like with me, with content, it's always been a matter of, okay, so when I was in school, and I don't tell many people this, but when I was in like 3rd and 4th grade, I was in a learning disability class because I didn't learn like the other kids learned. And a lot of the kids that were in this class were, let's say, developmentally challenged, like for real. Like, you know, like today they're not even functioning members of society. I, on the other hand, was dyslexic. And I didn't do very well with just regular instructions and such. I had to do it a certain way. And if you explained it to me a certain way, I did it fine. When I started doing the videos, I kind of took that whole philosophy on where it's like, all right, not everybody learns the same. So there are so many different, I guess, books and folks that give seminars and such out there on the subject of DJing, and they have their audience, but then there are so many people that are not being reached because they don't learn like that. They don't learn from a book, or they're not going to pull information out of the seminar that a lot of people are going to.
Right.
So let's put it to them several different ways till Sunday. Let's do that. And, you know, I did it last week. Somebody made a Facebook post, and I think they said something about, how is it that as a DJ, you're not worth more than an AV rental? Explain it to me. And in the comment section, this poster doubled down and said, no, don't give me your business plan. I want to know why you don't think you're worth more than an AV rental. And I thought, wow, you know, this is antagonistic. This is like your wife asking you, why did you leave your socks on the floor? Or why your mom would say something like, why can't you be more like your brother? You know, there's no positive response you're going to get from this. You have to ask the question different. So I posted a question and I made a follow-up video on it just to prove a point. I asked, hey, how would you like to have the dream system, the system you've always wanted, and have your clients pay for it? It's easy. If you'd like to know, ask me how. Mm-hmm. Boy, did I get it. That was positive. I was saying the same thing, getting people to think about, you know, cost analysis, getting people to think about how much they really have invested, getting people to think about what they're charging without challenging them or backing them into a corner.
Right.
That's what it's all about. So, yeah, sometimes I'll do the same video over and over again, but I'm saying it a little different each time. And each time I'm reaching somebody different. Somebody
new. It's going to click with someone that it didn't click with before.
The last one didn't click.
And that's I've had that with the newspaper. There's, as new writers are coming in every once in a while, they're like, okay, I don't want to be covering the same thing other people are. It's like, I don't have a problem with that, because every month there have been months where people have written about the same thing, but there's a different aspect of it. And it might be somebody who's going to connect, and you know, you might write, you and Mike Walter might hit the same topic. But someone's going to see it from your perspective and say, wow. And for some reason, Mike's may not, or vice versa. I mean, there's just what person's, where they are at that particular moment in time, and what strikes the fancy or touches their heart or catches their imagination. It can vary. And if you have basically, oh, well, this person's going to say, you know, they're going to teach A, B, and C, and then this person's going to do, you know, E, F, and G, and then over here, well, you're going to miss people, because there's people that will learn better from Brian, that then learn better from his person, and learn better from this person, just because of our styles and personality.
Yeah. Well, they may not get me at all. They go to somebody else to get it. Mm-hmm. I mean, you've got 5 kids. You totally get that not every kid is going to respond the same to everything that you do or say.
Oh, and if that isn't the most frustrating thing as a parent as they get to be older, because you go and you you've been, the one child has been kind of on edge, and this is the one that you have to crack down on, and then all of a sudden I don't want to say good kid, but one that doesn't usually get in trouble too often, and they do something and you turn around, you're like, rah, 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 and it's like, oh crap, that's not
different kid.
That kid
different set of rules.
Doesn't work that way. If I do that, I just crush them.
Yeah.
Where this child is the one that's, that's just the way it is, and
yeah. It's
but it's a good lesson.
It's a great lesson. And there are folks out there, and I know they're out there, and I'm not hating on anybody here, but there are people out there who just don't understand why everyone doesn't think exactly like they do.
Oh yeah.
And why everyone doesn't understand, the thing that they understand the way it was explained to them. Mm-hmm. It was so logical. Well, why don't,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Why can't you pass a standardized test?
I know I'm monologuing on this now, but that's the videos. It's a different angle. It's a different approach. It's not text. It's not book.
This would actually be, this is interesting now that we're talking about this. This would be interesting to have you, Jay Brannon, Mikey Mike, myself, Jonathan, like 5, 6, 7, 8 of us all do a video on the same topic.
And don't discuss it with
Don't discuss it. We just give the topic and
just give the assignment.
Yep.
I want you to do a video, however long or short you want to do it, on this subject.
Yep. And to see the variation and variety coming from the different people. So put that.
It'd be an incredibly interesting experiment.
Yeah, that would definitely.
And you would get several different videos.
You'd have there would be a little bit of a nuance that might have some similarity between the set.
Perhaps.
But it would be interesting to see because you've got some who are more on the technical side. You have some that are more on the performance side. You have some that are more on the teaching the background side. You have some that are more on the this is what you need to know to be functional side. So it would be just a wide variety of different things. So
not only that, but the general attitude's different. And what I mean by that is I've watched videos that I've done that I probably shouldn't have done. I've gone back and seen them. It's like, oh my gosh, I was not in the right mood to shoot a video that day. I could have made it more positive. I could have put a spin on it that would have been a little less apprehensive than what I had done. So, that has a lot to do with it too.
It really does.
I mean, if you gave me the assignment to talk about, DJing your first wedding, I mean, I could give some real sound advice, or I could go off for 10 minutes on what a jerk you are for not getting the proper training and ruining someone's day. It just depends on what mood I'm in.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that top or the idea of the mood and such. I mean, I've had people say it's like, well, you've got the stack of videos, and I watch how you function, Brian, and it astounds me because you're like, okay, it's up, and I've got videos to shoot today, and let's get at it. And it's like, dang, there's some days that I get up, and it's like I have absolutely no interest in going and shooting videos today. I'm just in a funky mood today. I just don't feel it, and I know if I go and shoot it, it's going to be less than it could be. You're going to just
the
see
days that I don't
out.
do videos. I'll just tell you right now, I don't do videos if I'm stressed out. So like, if I've got 17 different things going on here, and I got to try to sort those things out, I'm going to try to rush through the video and I'm going to screw it up.
Yeah.
The other time I don't do videos is when I'm really tired.
Yeah.
Because after the stroke, when I'm tired, it's almost like when you get like a system failure on something. Some systems have low energy, The low energy thing that happens in my system when I'm tired is my speech is affected.
Sure.
So I'll start really screwing words up. And sometimes I don't catch it until after I've posted the video. Really, it's scary. I remember I was at Mobile Beat. I think it was Mobile Beat. It was DJ Expo. And I was talking to somebody, one of the guys in the industry, one of the guys in the equipment industry. And he asked me a question, and I said, well, sometimes. He said, sometimes? I said, hey, fuck you, I'm tired.
Yeah.
I've got brain damage. But, you can't help it. And I didn't even realize I'd said it until he repeated it to me. But, yeah, I don't do videos when I'm exhausted. I can't. It just get all screwed up. and then the other thing, I guess I want to wrap this back into what we were talking about before is when I'm watching someone else do the video, even if it's just a video comment, and I can see their positive energy, and I can see the smile on their face, and I can see, the excitement that they have from what maybe I've been able to do for them as like a thank you or whatever. That does so much for me to go back and gauge how I should be producing videos, or even if it's someone who just, I don't even know them, it doesn't matter, but they're doing a video to help somebody, and they're good at it. Their speech flows wonderfully, and the lighting is good, and the content is fantastic. It's to the point. It's easy to understand. That inspires me, and that drives me to do better work. So I guess, if you look at it from a selfish perspective, I'm really looking forward to having, almost mentors
Sure.
to look to and make my work better.
Oh, I definitely.
Yeah, that was an F-bomb. It happens. Not often.
We don't.
It's kind of like AMC. Have you noticed that they do that sometimes? Like, America, like when you're watching anything. Like, what was I watching a while back? And they just said it. It was Walking Dead. They just said it. And I'm like, whoa, rewind that. Yeah, they just said it. I'm not going to say it again for 2 weeks, but they said it.
I don't remember what we were watching the other day. And it's like, did I just hear what I thought I heard?
Yeah, Star Trek Discovery, they dropped one.
Yeah, I was like, you got to be kidding me.
It's cable, or whatever. You don't do it all the time, You're allowed so many F's and S's per season, I think. if you just have Tourette's about it, the F's, the FCC is going to come down.
Well, we're low on our quota for F words this week. Who wants it for tonight's show? Okay, you can use it tonight. Now, don't have anyone else use it because we don't want to go exceeding our quota.
Hey, behave. At least I'm not lighting up a cigarette, so. I sit here and treat you guys like I'm the teacher in front of a class, at least for this hour. So.
And then.
Yeah, as soon as the camera goes off, you better believe it.
All bets are off. If you've ever been around a bunch of teachers after hours, all bets are off.
But yeah, that's what I was up to today. That was my big thing.
Well, that'll be fun. I'll be excited to see how that's going to grow over the winter here.
We have 25 minutes to talk about our gigs this weekend. John, you had a very interesting.
I did. I had a fun little weekend, and I'm going to try to switch something over here now. And what I'm going to be trying to do is, I want to see if I can send
illustrations.
I want to try to send, if I can.
That's like the infinity box I'm looking at.
Okay, hey, it worked. So, what I just did there, gang, is I'm switching over to. So Brian is able to see.
Yes.
Okay, but the shot, I've got to fix something on that shot. I don't know what's not. Okay, so that layer is being clear. If I shut that, no, it's not that one. Is it that one?
Well, what we're looking at, folks, is a barn and a van.
We're looking at a barn, but I don't know why that black is on the top. Oh, duh. Sorry.
McFly, hello.
Okay, so now our audio is going. They're seeing just that, so they're not seeing you and I. So this past weekend, my wedding was in a barn. This is and that's not unusual. Many of you have done barn weddings before. It was a very, very nice barn. They had remodeled and different things. So it was the biggest thing is that when they told me it was going to be in one of the farm sheds. Okay. And I didn't think too much of it, thinking like a pole shed or something where you just back up to the door and you unload. Well, you had to go through that door and upstairs to go into the upper level. This is one of the shots of because I was sending pictures off to Jimmy and Lori and such. This is the old hay mow or hay loft or what have you, depending upon what it's called in your area. Sure. And this guy has been collecting junk at garage sales forever, and he has these all over the walls. This is like this man cave. This is my little selfie booth here, and you can see I've got my EV speaker there. They didn't initially. They weren't interested in lighting. They were no lighting for the dance floor, and it's like, oh, I'm going to bring some stuff. So I put a 5P and the little dome there on the speaker stand, just to have a little lighting. But
let me ask you something real quick, John, before you go any further. Just one quick thing. Mm-hmm. Can anyone see me right now?
No, they cannot.
And when will they be able to see me again?
When we flip back to the screen.
Oh, okay. Well, how long will that be?
I've got probably about another 8 photos.
Oh, sweet. Okay, that's all I need to know.
A couple of minutes.
Continue, please.
So yeah, for those of you wondering, he's the kitty cat wanted to get more attention. So the this. Just the garbage, though. When you look behind, there's an Elvis poster. There's the Budweiser signs. There's jukeboxes right behind my shoulder. There was this great CD, this old CD playing jukebox, and there was another one. Oh, it's just just a cool space that this guy's created. And this has been his collection. He's been collecting this stuff for close to 20 years.
It looks like a theme restaurant.
It really to a point was. It had old beer things, old different bar things. But what this guy did is he's probably in his mid 60s right now. When he was a farmer in the summer, he was one of those guys that when the hay mound was empty, the hayloft was empty, they would have a barn party. They would have a barn dance.
Nice.
And he would invite the neighbors and such, and they had this party, and it was an annual thing.
That's a nice looking area.
Yeah. Well, this is the second half of it. He had the first main area or the main where the dance was, and then there would be a sliding door, and this is where they had the ceremony. And he's got couches all the way around. It's like he must have every time he saw a couch by the side of the road, he's picking up a couch.
Do I see like a Pepsi lit up sign back there?
Yep, he's got Pepsi signs and Coke and anything that he got from a bar or a diner. The lighting that's hanging. Most of the centerpiece lighting and such are some beer or soda. But let's see. Oh, and Jimmy, I wanted to get a better picture of the couches and such. What's neat about it is that he's now renting this out to friends, basically friends and family or acquaintances. So they rent the building and they bring in their own food, their own beverages, and they don't have to pay any of those, those fees in essence or what have you. Just some of the memorabilia that he had up against the wall there.
It's clean in there too.
Yeah, that was the part I was surprised at. I was expecting a dust because he's on a kind of a gravel road and you'd think that he had it cleaned up. This little table, initially I had one speaker in one area and one for the other during the dinner time, and then it became obvious to me that the people were not going to be going in one area or the other. So instead of leaving a speaker in each room, this is that going above and beyond. I carry extra gear with me. So I moved my one speaker back into the dance floor area, which that first photo did not show. Then I put a second speaker and I just set it on this table so that there was noise or sound going into that room. And then I had sound on the other. For those wondering, it's like, oh, well, you weren't paid to put that on there. Well, the bride and groom gave me a $100 tip for doing that. So right. I consider it a success for throwing a speaker on her that table. So yeah, it's just another shot of that room, the other side where they had, again, old tables he had picked up from some bar closing or something. This is cool. This is
the bookshelf?
No, that's beer cans.
Get out of here.
That's
a great
old
beer can collection.
That's a beer can collection. And you can see up on the top, there's the old hay elevator for bringing the square bales or straw bales in. You can kind of see the little doorway that they had. But yeah, that was all his beer can collection. Now, this particular roof in this area it's all steel on this side. Going through there, that's the older part of the barn that had a wood and then they had a steel. They covered it with steel. Temperature difference. As the temperature fell, this side got cold. It was down probably 50 degrees on this side. Where the other side, even though that doorway was open, because of that wood decking, was 70, 75. Oh, really? These are 360 cam. We're going to skip those.
Oh, that's
yeah, they're no fun. But yeah, this is. I want to get some pictures of the people they're just that selfie. If you guys haven't checked into a selfie booth, it's definitely something to check into. Oh, here, this is the restroom. They have one restroom in the place, and to the left, you can kind of see on the edge. There's the stool. The toilet is on the very left edge of this. Straight ahead, well, kind of straight to the right. That's kind of an olive green. That's the sink, and that's the curtain around his sink. To the left of that is the top of a milk can, and that's his urinal. So you've got this little 12-inch, basically like a bucket for feeding a calf is what it actually was. But that's the urinal. And all the signs basically tell you, don't throw toilet paper in the urinal. So
he's like an organized hoarder.
Yeah, to a point.
Yeah, he's a collector. he's hoarding, but it makes sense.
Yeah, and it goes together and makes this really awesome man cave. And this was when I threw that EV speaker up on the stand, or up on the table, so it had some noise there. Gosh, I don't know what that one was. It must have been a bad shot. I just grabbed it and pulled. Oh, and then he had one area where he had a bunch of, over by the jukeboxes there, he had some old 45s up on the on so I wanted to, it's like, yeah, that's kind of cool.
So they didn't play anymore or skipped or whatever.
Yeah, precisely, because he had one of the jukeboxes. Okay, this is here's my only beef really with this venue. Beyond it, it's just an old barn. You had to climb upstairs. So we're doing. I'm going to turn the volume down because I don't know what's going to sound. So there's our first dance and our beautiful couple out there doing their thing. Up on the ceiling is a damn mace going on the whole frickin' time.
Something he has installed.
He has it up on the hay elevator up there, and that's going the whole dang time. So thankfully, I'm going to scroll back on that video just a little bit. If you watch them, you really aren't seeing the lights on them for the photographer because of the American flag in the way. So yes, make America great again. It will protect you from a mace.
Fly the flag.
So yeah, I just got a couple of shots. I think that was about the extent.
No, that is impressive. That is very impressive.
Now,
I like that.
Over in this area, they had this really he had a table, a really heavy. Basically, it's like a workshop workbench, but it's a table. And on this, you can kind of barely see, but there's a handrail here. They had steps onto this. This is basically like, and I don't remember the movie where the gals would get up on the bar and they would do their
Coyote Ugly.
Yes, Coyote Ugly, the bar. That's kind of what that part was reminded you of. And at a point in time, people jumped up and they would climb up on that table and they were dancing up on that thing. And it's like, oh. So
we used to have a bar here in Milwaukee called Timers, and it was actually right next to the barbecue place I took you to that was burnt, that had caught on fire, and that was the theme of the place: dancing on the bars, or dancing on the tables.
Dancing on the tables.
That's what you did, and that was way before the movie came out. But that was like a thing. You go in there. It's called something else. Timers was where you went in and danced on the tables. And
that was a big thing. And I mean, I've been to weddings where they wanted to dance on the tables and they've done something here or there. Or if I had a nice stage that was the right height, I'd leave a gap open because they like to get on the stage and do that. And I've actually. At one of my weddings this summer, I knew that was a possibility at the venue, and I intentionally left a gap, and I invited the bride and groom up there at a specific time, and I had my lighting set, so I had two lights that hit them, and I had lights that hit their crowd, and I got some fabulous pictures of that.
We had Wavy Davy on last week, right?
Yes, yep.
Well, I DJ'd his wedding back in the 1800s, or whatever the hell it was. And, back in those days, we had the speakers on the floor, the big... carpeted speakers. That's just what we had. And I don't remember what I was playing was the party song. So Dave took it upon himself to do the speaker dance. That was a big thing. You get up on the speaker and dance. And Marsha hops up on the other speaker. So they're dancing, having a good time. And Dave decides, not only am I going to dance on the speaker, but I'm going to strip.
Oh my.
So he starts stripping. And there's something about Dave. See, Dave is a real skinny guy, right? But he's all muscle. He does nothing but like stairmasters and ripped abs and all that. Like every morning he's just an animal like that. So after Dave did the strip tease at his wedding, I vowed never to take my shirt off again unless I got to get in the bathtub because I was just embarrassed to do it. So he gave me a complex.
Yeah. It's like, oh man.
But no, that's fun stuff. But neat venue.
Yeah,
cool venue.
And so I was asking questions because Lori and I had talked about, we've got out here, we've got our 5 acres, and it's like, it'd be kind of cool to have parties. We did a couple of these back before we had children. So I was asking some questions, and it's like, okay, first off, how do you have no food, no beverage and such, do you have problems with the law? Well, as long as we don't have any underage drinking out here, they leave us alone. Ah, okay. So do you have any license? Do you have a license through the county? Well, as long as there isn't any underage drinking out here, they leave us alone. Okay, so we don't have any business license. How about insurance? Well, as long as we don't have any basically what's happened is that this gentleman and his family are loved within the community because of him being this person who does this parties.
Right.
And now the community is utilizing the building. They're paying him, and he's making he and his wife are very comfortable in their retirement, and they can put this building together because of the generosity of those who are renting the building. And he's never had a fight in this place. He's been doing since 2000. He's been doing renting this out. He's never had a fight because basically everything is self-policed because everyone knows him.
Right. You don't want to do, Farmer Bob wrong. You don't want
exactly.
to disrespect Farmer Bob's place.
Yeah, because if you
you'll screw it up for everybody, and everyone will hate you.
That's exactly it. And he's like, I've had numerous times where you could see something was going, and he goes, I thought, this is it. And then somebody gets in and says, hey, you're not screwing this up for us. Let's cool it. And time again they have. So it's I don't think that could be replicated today, and to start something like that today, it would be tough, maybe possible, but man, oh man, as I'm looking at that, it's like, oh yeah, if a person would you could put a nice DJ system in here, and you could do this, and you could be doing 20 weddings a year and something like that.
Plus.
And his expenses on that, he and his wife, they clean it and they tweak a little bit, but there's not a ton of expense to that, so it could be, if he's charging, $5,000 rental, $10,000, whatever he's charging, it could be a good solid income, which it is for him. He's
sure.
To keep the beer in. He doesn't buy any beer for anyone, but he has coolers. His cooler is, he took like a 6x, or 5x8 DJ trailer, and he spray foamed the inside of it. And then he put a refrigeration unit in the front of it.
Wow.
So there's his little beer trailer, and I'm looking at that. It's like, God, first off, that's a great idea, because then you close the door and it's locked up. And secondly, it's, I wonder if I can rent that, because when we go camping and you got a bunch of friends, it's always nice to have a bigger.
Right.
It's like,
even for food, whatever you have.
Oh yeah, so that was pretty cool. So
how far away is this venue from where you live?
It was 8 miles away, and I've been doing weddings
8
in this.
miles?
Yeah, just down the road, and I've never known it existed.
And you just found
out about it. Again, if you're not local, I don't think you're going in. If you're not
you
local,
are local. It's 8 miles away.
Well, yeah, but that's in
Doesn't your closest neighbor live like 3 miles away from you?
No, they're only about a quarter mile away.
Only a quarter, okay.
But that's the nearest, and then it's like quarter mile, that kind of a thing. But it was just the darndest thing. I get there and it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know this was here. And
that's cool.
And again, I think part of the success of it is that the locals that are in the town know about it. So unless you were one of them or a family member, but the couple, the bride and groom that were married, they met at one of the barn dances there. They actually had the spot on the floor. They had a big X on it. We met right here, which is kind of cool because, that's where they started, and they were able to kind of, do full circle and do that.
Neat.
Probably the last thing we'll jump on is okay. So there's a lot of teenagers because the couple were a little bit older. So then their kids and they were teenagers and their friends. So when you have something like this and you don't have somebody watching and policing the alcohol, what the kids would do is they would go and they would get they had their Mountain Dew can, and I'm going to say it that way because it wasn't Mountain Dew. And somebody would bring them a beer, and they would pour that beer into the Mountain Dew, and then they would toss the can off into the garbage can quick, and my Mountain Dew's foamy. They're out there dancing, and there's a lot of Mountain Dew cans being carried around. I don't think there was much Mountain Dew drank that night, but it was.
It's what's funny about that. I don't know how it was when you were young, where you live. Of course, I'm in Milwaukee, and this is very German, Bavarian, Polish, Drinking a beer was like nothing.
No, it was
when I was a kid.
We grew up doing that.
You did it right. You were drinking beer when you were a kid.
Oh yeah, you
were doing it at parties or even in bars, and nobody said a word to you. You couldn't do this in Los Angeles.
No,
you could not do this on the East Coast. I don't believe like you could, but the Midwest, something about these cultures, these Nordic cultures, or these German.
Yep, the German community. When we would go down and pick rocks, you're out there sweating all day. And it was when I hit 16, 17. But we were out there and helping my uncle out on the farm, or my uncle's cousin, which somehow that wasn't related to me. I don't know how that worked out. But anyway, you're out there working, and it's like, every every couple of rounds, there would be, water is always there, and then, stop and have a beer break, which, at 16 years old, I hated beer. I thought it was the grossest stuff, but, you did it. But that particular day, because the guy was kind of a beer connoisseur, and he knew that if he managed to keep it at like 34 degrees, it was absolutely fabulous. And when you're hot and sweaty and super cold beer like that, it was like, oh, that was great stuff.
Man, when I was young, and even before I was 16, the rule that my mom kind of laid down was, I'm not going to buy beer for you. That was the thing. My mom never bought me beer, ever. To this day, I don't think my mother's ever bought me beer. But if somebody else buys me some beer, and I happen to bring it home and bring some buddies over, and we decide we're going to drink it all, well, that's okay. We're just not going to buy it for you. Mm-hmm. And I think, looking back, my mom was pretty cool about that, in the regard that I would rather you sit here and drink this beer that you got from someone other than myself than go out in your car and driving around with it, at least at your home. But yeah, this is a very different attitude. I mean, at 16, 15, even 14 for me, if I was at a party drinking a beer, like a wedding, no one would have said a word. Mm-hmm. No one would have said a thing about it. Wouldn't have been a non-issue. When you have to hide it and put it on the down low, it's almost where things get dangerous. So.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, and that was one of the things as I was thinking. It's like, I'm just hoping that all these kids, because they're not experienced in drinking at any level, right. And that's the situation where those kids will go out and get themselves in an accident. Oh, I have had 2 beers and I'm fine. Well, yeah, you might be, but if you're a smaller person, it could be a dangerous ride home.
Yeah, demonizing it is just never the way to go for anything. Real talk, I think, is, let's discuss this. If it comes up, let's talk about it. Even if it doesn't come up, hey, just so you know, by the way, this situation never arises. This is what I expect.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. That's just me, the weird parent, and probably the weird kid.
Yeah,
I
for sure.
Different than a lot of people did, but neither here nor there. It sounds like you had a great gig.
So yeah, it really was. It was because of the teenagers, it became a really kind of a mix of a wedding and a high school dance, and doing. At that wedding is the most quick edits I have done, or quick mixes, I should say, where it was verse, refrain out, verse, refrain, verse out, sometimes just the refrain out. It was kind of nice because there's some songs that, basically the refrain's the only thing that doesn't suck. Like the song Sorry Not Sorry. I just wanted that where she's does the refrain of it. That's all I wanted, and drop that in and hit that. And after the first couple of times when the people were okay, we hit a point in the song, and then I mixed out of it and I was gone into the next song. And after they were like, oh, whoa, that was kind of that's unusual, because that's very semi-uncommon at weddings in central Minnesota. After doing it a few times, then they get to the point where I don't remember which song it was, but there was a song where there's like a noticeable break in the song, or it's kind of coming in, and you could just see it. They were waiting. They turn around, and they're like wondering what's next. And then when it continued on the song,
you trained them,
and it's like, oh, I missed that opportunity. Partially because I had someone up there saying, "Hey, do you take requests?" Well, sure. What do you want? Can you play some John Prine or something like that? It's like, what? No.
Kind of sounds like my wedding from last week.
So yeah, but yeah, it was a good night. So
kind of like that.
How did yours go?
I'll do the Reader's Digest. It was at a Moose Lodge. The couple getting married were both 67 years old each. So collectively, we're looking at 127 years or something, 114. Anyway, so nice people. They told me that they like country and they like oldies, and that their grandkids would be there. Well, their grandkids were in the 20s. And, they were into, whatever, the Cardi B or whatever. But it was interesting to try to keep that balance.
Yeah.
And try not to alienate anybody for too terribly long. The good news was it seemed like it was a real close family. Everybody was kind of cool and agree with everybody else. They were real laid back that way. So it went fine. It went pretty well. The ceremony, real simple. 5-minute ceremony. I like 5-minute ceremonies. And then the reception.
Yeah.
So very nice, very, very, very nice event. Everybody was cool. Nobody got lippy or anything like that. And I got the lead, the client lead, from my client coming up this Saturday. And that client is someone I know. I don't know if you remember, if you can think back to when I was posting those pictures from those photo shoots I was doing in Chicago.
Yeah, where you did the
with
lighting.
The lighting and such. And yeah, Stevie got some pictures too. The girl who was doing the main makeup, the really good makeup, that's the girl that I'm doing a wedding for this weekend.
Very nice.
So, and then her fiance is a model as well. He's done photo shoots. And yeah, it's a cool little 130 person event at a yacht club. I've played the yacht club before. It's a lot of pink lighting and things like that. But no, that's how I got the gig. She does hair and makeup like professionally. And one of her clients came in and said, "Yeah, I'm getting married. I need a DJ. I don't know who to get." So I should call my guy. He's doing my wedding. Like the week after your wedding, he's doing my wedding. Just call Brian. He's a friend. He'll take care of you. So it was really nice. It was a good referral and nice people, and no complaints.
You mentioned that with the couple, country, they were into country music and such. What kind of older country stuff did you play?
I didn't play a lot of older country.
Really?
Actually, they were looking for newer country, but then they liked oldies. So it was like a separate thing. You know what I mean? They were looking for the Beatles, and then they were also looking for Luke Bryan.
Okay.
So it was the country and the oldies were separated that way. And I'm a terrible country DJ. I mean, they're like, play some good country.
That was where I was kind of, why I jumped on this, is because I know that's not your forte, and wondering how.
It's not, if somebody says, "Hey, we'd like to hear some country at our wedding, something to dance to," I got my go-to tracks that I play. And I'm familiar with them, and I know that they work. And then, of course, there's the country slow. But if they want like a large segment of the evening to be country, I struggle. And I had people come up to me, and there were some of the grandkids, I guess, were from Tennessee.
Okay.
And hey, we're from Tennessee. We want to hear some country, some good country. Could you play me some good country? If you tell me exactly what you want, I play it for you. Well, no, just play some good country. So look, I don't mean to be rude, but I don't know what a good country song sounds like. They all sound like the hokey pokey to me. You got to help me out here. You tell me exactly what you want to hear, the song, the artist. I will play that for you, I promise. But I don't know the difference between a good country song and a bad country song.
That's funny.
All sounds the same. It does.
There's a lot of similarity, but
well, for me,
Yeah, the country songs, because this crowd was similar to that in some ways with the older guests. Steve Earle but they did a slapping leather type line dance to that one, but that went over well. They wanted Kenny Rogers, so they had to do The Gambler. We did a Mel McDaniels with Louisiana Saturday Night. That was a request. Ring of Fire, Johnny Cash was in there. Glenn Campbell. Glenn's Rhinestone Cowboy.
Yeah. The song Louisiana Saturday Night got me thinking. I remember that song. I remember the lyrics to that song. And Saturday Night in Louisiana sounds like it sucks. You go home and you take your shoes off and you dance in the kitchen. It sounds like crap. I can think of so many different ways I'd rather spend a Saturday night than the way they do it in Louisiana. Sorry about that.
Yeah, if you're from Louisiana, I'm just sorry we alienated you.
Get it. Or upper Minnesota or wherever you're from, where that's a cool thing to do.
Where it is a hot.
I'm so city. I can't do it.
No Garth, which was somewhat surprising. I expected something from Garth to be requested with that, but no, they didn't.
It's almost cool when you don't play Garth.
Yeah,
it's kind of like doing a regular music, and not playing the cha-cha slide,
2
or not playing Michael Jackson Beat It or Thriller, not Beat It, but Billie Jean.
Yeah, Billie Jean. I was going to say that was a big request, was Billie Jean. So I decided, because we talked about Fergalicious.
I played that this weekend.
I decided, you know what, I'm going to try. I've got a lot of youngsters here. Let's see if this, because most of the kids were from the one school there in Sauk Center. It's like, we're going to find out if these kids know it too. Of all the songs, that had the loudest screams from the teenagers. What did you see on your side?
Well, it was a request.
Okay.
One of the younger grandkids, you could tell, probably young high school or maybe even late middle school kind of thing. And I guess they really enjoyed it, but the other kids there were a little older and they weren't as into it.
Nice.
But I mean, I got dancing. It wasn't that I didn't get dancing. And I had this one girl come up to me. I remember she was, because I was doing a lot of country and I was doing some hip hop stuff, trying to go back and forth the best I can. And she comes up, we need some heavy metal, rock and roll. I am almost 50 years old. I'm from the 80s. I need some Van Halen and some, she names off, I don't know what she names, just artists that you've never played at a dance,
Yeah, Van Halen. Well, I
like,
love listening to
it was stuff like that. It was like Van Halen, Scorpions, and I said, honey, you got to give me something to work with.
Yeah.
I am. I said, no, you're not. If you would have come up to me and said, how about some AC/DC or some Def Leppard or some Guns N' Roses? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I'm like, okay, we're good. So, did that whole thing that you can get away with playing at weddings with the whole pour some sugar on me and you shook me all night long. And, that stupid set. And she was happy. Nice. Everybody was cool, though. Everybody was real cool. Blanca came along just to kind of help load and unload. Mm-hmm. And, spend a lot of time on her phone.
Yeah, that's the negative thing. People are like, oh, you DJ by yourself? It's like, well, there's only so many times where having a second person would be advantageous. Once you get into the dance, I'm an hour into the dance, it's like one person. And, oh, well, you could be out on the dance floor doing things. It's like, I am on the dance floor doing things, but I know that, okay, I can start the song and a song is going. I'm 2 steps, I'm on the floor, and I can engage the crowd, I can lead the dance, I can direct the traffic, and then I just know I have to leave 10 seconds before to flip the song. I mean, yeah, it would be nice to have a second person, but that second person gets so bored.
Yeah, and I felt bad. I mean, Blanca does not drive. I mean, if she did, I would just say, hey, take the keys, go do your thing.
Yeah.
I'll see you at 11, or whatever. But she doesn't, so, I mean, if I'm taking her all the way to Illinois especially, which is, then, she's stuck. So,
yeah,
is what it is. So this is ankle heels, it won't be an issue anymore. I got nobody to go with me this weekend either. Blanca will not go because it's Halloween trick or treat. She wants to do the porch and somebody needs to do it.
Yeah.
Stevie's dog sitting for her mother. Her mom has some animals that have some special needs, I guess, medication and such. Everybody I know is gigging. So I'm going to very carefully go out there and do this myself, I think.
Yeah. Take it easy and nice. It'll be the slow setup and such too.
It's okay. It's a small setup.
Nice.
This is a weird haul because, and you'll see the gig. I did the gig log from last week, but I haven't posted it yet. I shot one. This one's goofy because it's a very nice venue. It's right on the lake, but they got a pool table and they can't move it.
So it becomes your table.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there, had that, and at the end of the night, I've had such a sore back because it's at a weird height for me.
Actually, it's the opposite for me. I love the height.
Oh, perfect.
The height's really good. I like it because it's right up there. I'm not bending over or anything.
Very nice.
So, but anyway, that's what's cooking. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Yep. So we'll have one more round of gig log or gig post show synopsis last week. We'll be able to talk next week. We'll talk about.
Yeah, it dies off after that. Nothing.
It does.
Happens.
Yeah. Then it becomes deer hunting here in Minnesota, and after that, it's like there's nothing that goes on. It all ends. Then we start watching football.
Yeah.
Well, gang, thank you very much for hanging out with us tonight. It's a little after 10 o'clock, so we need to wrap things up here. Well, actually, no, next Tuesday we won't. We've got trick-or-treating. It is Halloween night, and we take the kids out and around and such. Well, you know what? Maybe we'll still do something because we'll be after trick-or-treaters. It's
up to you. You let me know.
Yeah, we'll kind of kick it around because you know what? Wouldn't be a bad idea. We could do something musically. Hook up the sound system and do some music next week. We talked music last week, but we didn't play any. We should do some.
We could. Halloween here. The trick or treating actually happens on Saturday night. Mm-hmm. So Halloween night is like it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
There are some communities that do it on Halloween, but here in my neighborhood, it's Saturday night.
Nice.
So I'm missing it. Blanca's going to be doing it.
I'd prefer that myself to a point, but instead we'll be doing it, taking the kids out. But yeah, the kids will be long in bed by the time we go with our show. So yeah, we'll keep you guys up to speed and such. We'll know by Saturday or when the Sunday email goes out and such. So thank you everyone for being with us tonight, and we will catch you next week. Good night, everyone.